Hey everybody, Alex Stephenson here with another Innistrad Swiss Draft. Our rare is Gavany Township, which I'm sure you could build around this rare pretty well with like Midnight Hauntings and I don't know, Doomed Wayfarers. I guess anything that like puts out tokens really. We have an Abyssinian Priest, which is a nice little white piece of removal. We have Invisible Stalker, which is actually just a ridiculously good card. I think I'm actually tempted to just do the Stalker here instead of trying to sort of, even though Township is really good. I sort of just want. I like this unblockable sort of thing. There's really not much your opponent can do at all against this. And if you manage to pick up like Curiosity, Silver Inlay Dagger, Butcher's Cleaver, any of those with him, he's just like broken. He's so good. So I think I'm just gonna pick up the Stalker first, and hopefully just start picking up some tools to apply to him. Well, look at this. I think our pick two is just going to be this Sturmgeist, the rare. We do have Fiend Hunter in here, which is just ridiculous, and Claustrophobia, which is probably, I would almost go as far to say Blue's best piece of removal, right next to like, I don't know, Grasp of Phantoms or something, which isn't, I guess, totally removal. While this is like Blue Pacifism for 3, which is really good. But the Sturmgeist is awesome. The Sturmgeist is just a really amazing card. So I'm picking that over the Fiend Hunter. Just staying blue. Okay, what's our pick 3 here? We have Battleground Geist, which looks okay. Fortress Crab, which looks alright. Deranged Assistant. If I thought maybe I was going to get some more, I don't know, some scab guys, which I hopefully will. Um, what do I think is the best pick in this pack? You know, Battleground Geist is actually pretty good. There's spirits in every color, and the fact that he's like a 3/3 flyer that's also like a mini lord, he's a pretty good pick here. The Deranged Assistant is the other pretty good pick because I mean we're talking about a flashback set, a guy that ramps. He works really well with like the scab guys. So I might just want to pick up the Assistant here over the Battleground Geist, but I'm not sure. Since I already have the Sturmgeist and this actually boosts it, that's pretty cool. So I think I'm actually gonna take the Battleground Geist. Ooh, and now they like make me insta regret it because they got a Stitch Drake. Moorland Haunt is actually really good too. Um, Turn all your creatures in your graveyard into, you know, little 1/1 flyers. It's not bad. That'll move me in on blue white pretty fast though. But that might not be that bad of an idea. The Voiceless Spirit I could also pick up. Those work well with the Battleground Geist. I think I actually just want the Stitch Drake, even though I already passed that. You know, what's his name, the Deranged Assistant or whatever. Just good picks in general for us here, though. The Stitch Drake, Voiceless Spirit, Dissipate, and Moorland Haunt are all pretty reasonable picks here. Pretty good picks here. But I like Stitch Drake a lot. He's super strong. And it's really not that hard to get a creature card in your graveyard. One creature card in your graveyard is not a big deal. Let's see. There's nothing that's like crazy good for us here. The Selhoff Occultist would fill our graveyard a little bit. But I think I'm actually just going to pick up the Isolated Chapel, get a couple tickets here. And, yeah. I'm just going to get a couple tickets. And if I go in either of those colors, maybe I can even use it as well. So, maybe. Here's hoping. I suppose I could start moving in on a different color. Blue green. You know, I've never done blue green before, and there's a lot of stuff like Wreath of Geist and Mulch, which don't really read that well. Mulch really isn't that impressive of a card. Neither is this card. But blue green would be like where you'd want to apply these kinds of cards. So I guess I could try that archetype, but I'm like more tempted to pick up a white card, especially since I have the chapel, so I could like splash a black card pretty easy too. So if I'm gonna do that, I suppose I'll pick up the Silver Chase Fox, get anti-removal thing. All right, well here I'm happy to pick up another Stitch Drake over the Mausoleum Guard, which is a really good card, but the Stitch Drake is just a phenomenal card. And now I can like focus on how to fill my graveyard with, stuff which isn't hard for blue. Here, let's see. One-Eyed Scarecrow looks like It's probably the best pick for us. Otherwise, Stony Silence, no, I don't think so. Sideboard, because I'm going to be looking for equipment for my Invisible Stalker. So I think actually One-Eyed Scarecrow is, even if I don't end up playing, it's a very fine sideboard card. I suppose I can grab a black card here out of the three. Which do I like the most? Probably, since I have like zero removal. Night Terror is not really removal, but, you know, lets you get something, rid of something in their hand, so it's not that bad. Black appears to be pretty open, so maybe I can grab up. Unfortunately, none of these black cards are really good, but I guess we can do the... I could do the Thraben Purebloods and just get a good blocker. Yeah, I suppose I'll do that over the Witch. Okay, here, let's see. Ghoulcaller's Bell, actually, with the Stitch Drakes, if I, emergency case, don't get anything that can fill my graveyard. So, I might do that. Gnaw of the Bone, probably, none of these other cards are super important. So, we'll do a Ghoulcaller's Bell. Here, could always sideboard the Paraceline, but actually, Ghoulcaller's Chant's a good card, and, I don't mind picking that up with Night Terrors. I'm really open to do something besides blue. I can do black or white, or possibly both splash. Kessig Wolf is a better card than Riot Devils. Runic Repetition, be pretty hard to play that unless I had just a ridiculous amount of flashback spells. Okay, pack 2, and we've opened some pretty good cards, actually. Really good cards, actually. The Blasphemous Act is kind of the one that I'm just tempted to take right away, because just board sweep is so powerful. But there's a lot of good picks in here. The Scab, I feel like something good for us is definitely going to wield. Whether it be, Armored Scab, Midnight Haunting, the Torch is not going to wield. But something good from this pack is going to wield. Not the Claustrophobia either, but Blasphemous Act is a totally legit pick. This card is super strong, and definitely just worthy of a splash. It's an easy splash, too. I think I'm cool with taking Silent Departure. We have a lack of removal as it is, and this is pretty powerful blue card. Yeah, I don't really think anything else in here is terribly important. The Gallows Warden, I guess, since I already have the Battleground Geist and stuff, but no, that's okay. Let's do Silent Departure. Get a sweet bounce effect. Okay, Moan of the Unhallowed is actually a super strong card. I'm kind of tempted to just pick that right now. Start moving into blue-black, maybe. Otherwise, if I wanted to do blue-white, it's the Priest. Occultist, because I am going to need some stuff to fill my graveyard. But I think Moan of the Unhallowed, I don't even have a 4-drop, and Moan of the Unhallowed is just an awesome card. It's a really awesome card. I like it a lot, so I'm going to pick it. And probably just start straying away from white. Our only 2 white picks are pretty irrelevant anyway. Alright, well, we got Mind Shrieker, which is a pretty easy pick for us here, too. The only thing we're passing really is like Sensory Deprivation, which, not a great piece of removal anyway, and Mind Shrieker can just kill your opponent. It's amazing, so happy to pick that. Really solid blue card. Okay, here we're just going to pick up the Deranged Assistant. Not only does it ramp us, but we need ways to fill our graveyards for our Stitch Drakes. It's just a good card. Although Endless Ranks of the Dead and Moan of the Unhallowed is interesting, especially since I have the 2 Stitch Drakes too, I still don't think this card is strong enough. I mean, you'd have to have if you had all zombies, then I would say run it, but otherwise, that's pretty tough to play. So yeah, we're happy to pick the Deranged Assistant here. Get something to fill our graveyard. Well, we can play the Makeshift Mauler too. I'm gonna pick that over the Evasive guy. Makeshift Mauler is like a bomb. He just kills your opponent. So otherwise, there's Typhoid Rats, Lantern Spirit. Both of those would be okay, reasonable picks. But Makeshift Mauler it is. Here, let's see. Well, we have nothing in blue-black, which is what I would really like to play. What I'm planning on playing. So I think I might just pick the Traveler's Amulet. make the splash easier for the Blasphemous Act, probably. So, yep, I think that's okay. Well, we got Forbidden Alchemy, which I think is actually going to be stronger than Silent Departure for us. Fills our graveyard for the Stitch Drake and the Makeshift Mauler, and gets us a card, and it's got Flashback. Just all sorts of good stuff, and that's why we have to pick it over the Silent Departure here. And it's foily too, so you know what that means. You have to play it if it's foil. Well, amazingly, we tabled Claustrophobia and Armored Scab, but I'm gonna pick the Claustrophobia over the Graveyard Filler, just because this card is such a solid piece of removal, and we're like extremely light on removal. The only things we have are the Departure, kind of the Night Terrors, and then Blasphemous Act. So Claustrophobia is like necessary right here. I'm just gonna hide the white cards now. I just don't think that's happening, even with the Isolated Chapel. I'll just leave this up in case we pull like a bomb white rare. Like if we got that angel, I would pick that and then use the Isolated Chapel to splash for it. Well, I suppose we can pick the... It's either Lost in the Mist or Rotting Fen Snake. Yeah, we're gonna need some more creatures for our Stitch Drake and Makeshift Maulers and stuff, so that's fine. I guess the nice thing is Mind Shrieker, you can use Mind Shrieker on yourself to fill your graveyard for Stitch Drake and Makeshift Mauler too. So actually we have some decent graveyard fillers now. Here nothing is looking really impressive, so I think we'll just pick up another Scarecrow. It's good against us, and our opponents... I mean, flying creatures are like the most played creatures in Limited, you know? They're the ones that you want, so... This Scarecrow actually fulfills a really cool role in this limited environment, I've noticed. We'll take Demon Mail Halberd. Another way to fill the graveyard with creatures, and it's just, I mean, if you equip this on like a flyer, it's just like ridiculous, so I think that's good. Yeah, Ghostly Possession is probably more likely to do something against us. Take a Ghoul Caller's Bell. Actually, I think I should have taken the Land Destruction there, because I passed that first pack Gavany Township, which is actually it's a really powerful card. In Limited, it's a really powerful card. Well, I think it's pretty easy pick the Falconwrath Noble here. This Noble is insane, so yeah, we're happy to get him. I really hope I get a Curiosity or a Butcher's Cleaver. There it is. Okay. Well, we got that Butcher's Cleaver. That's kind of what I was... Got a lot of good picks in here, though. Butcher's Cleaver on Invisible Stalker is just out of control. That's like too good. So I think he's actually our only human though, but still, even without the lifelink, just equipping on our other guys is really good. So that's gonna be our pick here. But yeah, on Invisible Stalker, Butcher's Cleaver is like broken. It's not even fair. Oh my god, another Falconwrath Noble? Wow. Yep, we're picking that over the Forbidden Alchemy because, wow, and the Moment of the Unhallowed. This is a sick pack for us. But Falconwrath Noble is just so dirty good. Let's see here. Well, bunch of good picks for us again. First, I'm going to hide these Scarecrows, so we're looking at like 23 cards right now. Corpse Lunge actually not that good for our deck because we're already going to want to be exiling our creatures with our Makeshift Maulers and Stitch Drakes and stuff. I'm kind of tempted to pick the Rage Thrower just because he's just a really good finisher, and I am going to be splashing for the Blasphemous Act. I don't think it's too greedy. Otherwise, it's another 4-drop in Abattoir Ghoul, which is an amazing card, but I've already got like enough 4-drops probably. And Rage Thrower with, if you have a Falconwrath Noble out and then you play a Rage Thrower, that's like every creature that dies turns into a Lightning Bolt. Yeah, that's sick. So I think actually Rage Thrower is going to be like our finisher because we have a decent amount of creatures too. Get another Deranged Assistant. I might need to think about that one actually. Let's get rid of these Ghoul Caller's Bells. Let's see. Am I likely to play another assistant? Do I need another assistant is the question. So I have the Mind Shrieker, the Deranged Assistant, the Forbidden Alchemy, and then just if my creatures are dying are the only ways I can really play my Stitch Drake and Makeshift Mauler. Is that enough? Maybe not. But it's Blazing Torture, Deranged Assistant. And I think I actually want another assistant over the torch, but God, we are short on removal. We're actually really short on removal. I think I have to pick the torch here, only because we're short on removal. Otherwise, this is definitely more. The assistant is something I wanted to pick up there, but thankfully, I don't regret that decision now because we can just pick up this armored scab, which is awesome with our, with our other stuff. So, yeah, armored scab it is. Okay, here we get a ghoul razor, I think, which actually looks pretty good because we've got a bunch of really powerful zombies. So yeah, I think Ghoul Razor is just fine here. Get a little card advantage. Here, I think I actually pick up a Diregraph Ghoul. It's not a bad card at all. It's a zombie. Comes down early. It's a nice little beater. I'm gonna pick that over the Fortress Crab. We got enough 4 drops. Diregraph Ghoul is a good card. I think I'm fine with picking that. Let's see here. Do I need a third Scarecrow for sideboard? Probably not. Do I just I think actually the best card is probably just the Traitorous Blood, so I take that away from our opponents. I'm not gonna attempt to splash for that. But these two cards are actually worthy of splash, I think. I know Rage Thrower seems like a weird one, but you can just like drop him and kill your opponent. It's pretty impressive. Here, I can't believe this cultist actually tabled. That's unbelievable. That's still too greedy of a splash, unfortunately. But God, it wouldn't have this card would be amazing with Rage Thrower and a Noble out too. Yeah, that would be out of control, but it's too much to splash for. I might consider it. Let's if I can like get away with 3 color, maybe I'll attempt it, but I don't know. Well, we tabled a sweet little flyer too, so we're happy to take that. I don't think we're gonna need to get greedy with our mana base really at all. These two are still totally worthy of a splash. This just sweeps the board, so this is totally worthy of a splash. Like, you're never going to have to pay 9 mana for it, so that's not to worry about. Usually you're going to sweep a board for probably like 5 or 6 mana, which is pretty good. Alright, now the question is, do I take another piece of removal over another Ghoul Razor? I think I actually am. I've got enough graveyard fill where I can do Corpse Lunge. So as a one of, that's safe. Still a little bit short on removal, so I don't feel bad about that. Intangible Virtue is a better card, but it's definitely more of like a play around card. Disciple will take, although I don't think I have any Morbid. I do have the Noble Rage Thrower or something, but I don't think I'm likely to play the Disciple. Okay, this is what I ended up building. I'm still planning to splash for the Blasphemous Act and the Rage Thrower. Thankfully, we have the Traveler's Amulet, so it shouldn't be too hard. I also included 2 mountains in my deck. If you only did one, there's a good chance that you could just mill it with a Deranged Assistant or your Armored Scab or something. I mean, there's still a reasonable chance that I just get them both in my graveyard and I can't even play these spells. But hopefully the Traveler's Amulet and the fact that I'm running 2 mountains should help with that. This is almost a mono blue deck. It actually looks like a pretty powerful deck, to tell the truth. Not a ton of removal, but my creature base are all just really solid creatures. Rage Thrower, if it comes in and you have a full board of creatures, that usually just like can end a game. Sturmgeist is awesome, get huge card advantage. Battleground Geist is awesome. Invisible Stalker, not as impressive as I thought he was going to be, since he was my first pick, but I did end up getting a Butcher's Cleaver, and those 2 cards together are usually just game over. Otherwise, the Butcher's Cleaver just turns all my guys super deadly. Mind Shrieker's a spirit, so it actually gets boosted by Battleground Geist, which is cool. It also mill myself. I've got a fair amount of higher mana cost stuff, so he can get big, and he might be putting creatures in my graveyard for the Stitch Drake and the Makeshift Mauler and stuff, or Mona the Unhallowed, and other like tools that I can use for my graveyard, which isn't bad either, that happen to make Mind Shrieker huge. So there's some cool little synergies going on in this deck. I ended up taking out the Ghoul Razor and the Ghoul Caller's Chant last, even though these are good value cards for the deck. They're just kind of counter to what the Stitch Drakes and the Makeshift Maulers want to do. So I'm not sure if those cards are best together. I could have played both of them over the Red Splash, but these cards I'm gonna stick by, even if it ends up screwing me color wise. These cards are worth splashing for. They're that strong. A board sweep is this is like a tremendous board sweep in this format. So it's a good card. Yeah, I guess we'll try this. We'll see how we do.